So now that we've got something that looks like a calculator and we also have clickable buttons, we're ready to move on to the next step. And I know we got quite a bit of practice at creating elements dynamically, and a lot of this was the same format, and now you must be really familiar with creating elements. So now let's create some interaction and functionality into those elements. So we're passing that event object, but we also want to know which element, when it triggers it, we want to know the inner HTML of that element. So we can grab that information by using the JavaScript this. So we see when we click the button, and I'll make this bigger so we can take a closer look. Whenever we click any of these buttons, we get the element that invoked the click. So see, and inside of that element, we've got within the inner HTML, we have the key that was being pressed on the calculator. So if we take this and if we do inner text, and I can get rid of the event object, we don't need to see that. So we refresh, and now whenever I click the buttons, I can see what character is associated with the button. And these are string values as well. So we can do some comparison and we can determine which button the user is intending on clicking, and that's going to give us the functionality that we want to do. So let's set up a variable to contain that value. We can just call it my value, and this is the value of the button that was clicked. The same thing that's going into the console. And now what we can do is we can output that value, so we can have another container where we can update the value that's contained within the inner HTML. And another variable that we're going to need is the actual calculation. So this is the value that's actually going to be sitting within the my output object. And we saw that that's the one that we created earlier. So we'll just grab that inner text from there. And now we can take my cal and we can equal my cal and then add in whatever the my value is. And then lastly, let's take the my output, that's that same object, and take the inner text, and we're going to update it to be equal to my cal. So see what happens. So now we've got 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 6. We've got the plus 3, 3, 3, all the way down. And the one problem here is that we notice that we've got a 0 in the beginning. So we need to remove that 0. Now there is a way to do that. And what we can do is we can check to see if the value of my cal is equal to 0. And if it's equal to 0, then let's remove out that preceding 0 in front of it. And my cal, and we're going to equal that to just blank. So that's just two quotes. So now whenever we type in the 3, 6 plus plus plus, we can see that now we've got more of a number, because typically within a calculator you don't see that 0 going in front of it. So go ahead and add this into your project, and you're ready for the next part where we're going to do the calculation. And you're going to be surprised at how easy that is to do when we do evaluation with JavaScript.